This is the Leitmotif and Movement podcast, a father and son's journey into the vast worlds of music. I am your host, Mike Ficklin, and joining me on this epic musical journey is my son,
Michael Ficklin.
This show is dedicated to the discussion of music and introducing Michael to music from the past and present. We will mainly be discussing the genres of rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. We will also from time to time dive into film and video game scores, and we'll sprinkle in some surprises along the way. Michael, what have you been listening to this week?
I have been listening to Weezer.
Which Weezer album?
Their first album?
The Blue album?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know the differences.
There's a bunch of them that are self-titled, and they refer to them by the different background colors on them. So that first Weezer album is referred to as the Blue album.
Also listened to Periphery this week. Just a mix. Mainly Alpha, Juggernaut Alpha and Juggernaut Omega. Also listen to, of course, the assignments. Like always, Seven Dust, Seasons.
Great record.
I think I also listened to the Finch record. And that's pretty much it.
Been listening to quite a bit of stuff. Good for you. Yeah, for me, I listened to a collection of some new stuff and some old stuff. Listened to the new record from Anomaly called Riverchild. I don't like spreading any sort of negativity or anything, but I am going to say, if I'm just being honest, I was a tad underwhelmed with this release. Musically, it just feels stagnant. It feels like it's part 2 of their previous record, Transformation, with less emphasis put on the black metal sounds. It's more kind of post-black metal, a bit more atmospheric. I'm impressed that this continues to be a one-man project with a session drummer, though. I was just hoping I was going to dig this a bit more than I did. Also listened to the new record from The Cure called Songs of a Lost World, and man, what a return. It's their first new material in 16 years, and it's like they never missed a beat at all.
Holy.
I mean, Robert Smith has lost nothing as a vocalist, and if I'm being honest, this might be in my top 3 favorite records ever from The Cure. I love the dark sound of the music. To me, it's very reminiscent of Disintegration, which is my personal favorite record from The Cure. I highly recommend Songs of a Lost World. This is great.
Wow, I may have to put that on my checklist of things to listen to.
Yeah, you definitely need to listen to it, and you need to let me know what you think of it. I really think you'll like it, especially if you liked Burn from the Crow soundtrack.
Okay.
Like you, I also have been listening to the Blue album from Weezer. They just put out the Weezer 30 record, which is the 30th anniversary kind of remaster deluxe version of the first Weezer record. And man, this is just like revisiting an old friend. It really is. It's such a good record. Lots of fun pop hooks mixed with the rock sensibilities. It has all aged extremely well. I enjoyed hearing the demo versions of the songs and kind of hearing how the songs evolved over time. Really enjoyed the additional live material presented as well. I mean, you can't go wrong with this record. There's so many good songs on this. Michael, you got any particular favorites?
My name's Jonas. Also, Say It Ain't So.
Yeah, My Name is Jonas is a great one. I love the Sweater song, In the Garage, Buddy Holly.
Yeah, Buddy Holly in the Garage.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also went back and revisited a pair of albums from the fantastic UK-based progressive rock band Porcupine Tree. I revisited the albums In Absentia and Deadwing. I revisited them partly for the fun of it and partly in anticipation of hearing their new deluxe version of Fear of a Blank Planet. Steven Wilson, I'm just reminded that he is an absolute master of the prog rock / prog metal art form. I mean, In Absentia specifically might be the finest work they ever produced. Deadwing is based on a screenplay that was written by Steven Wilson and Mike Binion, and is kind of a ghost story. In Absentia has a basis in the psychology of serial killers, kind of some youthful innocence gone wrong, and criticisms of the modern world. It's all fantastic stuff. I think you would dig it, Michael.
Okay. I'll think on it.
Interesting band name, too, right? Porcupine Tree?
I thought you were describing it still.
Oh, no. Something else I listened to this week was the remastered version of Hierarchy from Rivers of Nile. Hierarchy was the band's very first EP, and while I personally enjoy the band's later material a whole lot more, it was still a ton of fun to go back and revisit where they came from. I mean, this is just pure death metal goodness. It was awesome revisiting it, and the remaster's really solid. Straight up, just face-melting death metal, man. It's good stuff.
So, about that, where is that band from?
They're actually from the U.S. I am not entirely sure where exactly they're from, but I know they're from the U.S.
Are there all their album names based off different Egypt things?
Not all. They're the 4 albums that have been released are part of a kind of concept called Terraria, and it's each concept album on the whole is dealing with a different season. So like fall, summer, spring, winter, so on. So interesting stuff.
Yeah,
their album Where Owls Know My Name is one of my favorite records just ever. It's such a good record.
The reason why I brought that up was because of the band name.
Oh, because of the Nile?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not spelled like the Nile River. It's more spelled like nihilistic. It's Nihil, not Nile. The last couple of things that I was listening to, obviously, other than what we're going to be talking about today, was I went back and decided to revisit the Juggernaut albums from Periphery, Alpha and Omega. I don't give these things nearly as much love as I give some of the other Periphery albums. They comprise this double concept record. It's the only concept record the band's ever done. I know the fans have kind of clamored for another concept record from Periphery, but I believe I've read that the band kind of got really stressed about the process of creating Juggernaut. So I don't think that they're really interested in going back and doing another one, just because of, it kind of sounds like it was kind of painful for them.
I mean, I wouldn't mind another Juggernaut album type.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be Juggernaut. Yeah. I mean, it could just be any sort of broader concept album. And I really don't know why I tend to sleep on these records so much. I mean, there's so much good music on these, and I sleep on it constantly. Yeah, Heavy Heart's great. Psychosphere's great. Yeah. Mile Zero.
Stranger Things.
Yeah. Lots of great tunes on those records. I gotta stop sleeping on them so much.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
It's kind of like how I cast aside P1 or Periphery 1.
You can't cast aside P1. I mean, I know the vocals are a little more raw than what would come later, but there's still some fantastic music on that record.
All new materials, jetpacks.
Yep. Race car.
Never heard that song. Not gonna lie.
Dude, you need to go back and listen to that record.
Song.
You need to listen to the whole thing and then report back.
Okay.
I guarantee you're gonna like it.
I don't like Spencer's
Icarus Lives
vocals
is off of that also.
on P1.
Yeah.
I don't like Spencer's vocals just because they sound like very rushed.
My understanding, I read something here not too long ago. Apparently, Spencer had never sang before he did P1. So that was kind of his first trip into singing.
Wow.
So it would kind of, kind of explains why it seems like his vocals are so much different on P1 than it is on anything else.
Yeah.
He's still kind of finding himself.
If you compare it to P1 to P2, it's way different. P2 sounds like the rest of the record.
Yeah, it's night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally night and day. And I mean, there's even some major growth on the Icarus EP, which is what came right after P1. The Jetpacks version 2.0 that's on that EP is, I think it's better than the original version, personally.
Agreed.
All right. Michael, anything else you've been listening to? Anything that I rang a bell on?
Other than I need to listen to P1.
Report back.
All right.
Okay. And with that out of the way, we'll move into our next segment. This is the Art of Discovery, where we go in and listen to some music from some outstanding independent bands out there. And we've got a fantastic selection for you this episode. We're going to start out with this is actually a new project. This is from their brand new EP. This is called Duo Latera. This song is called Eraser, and it features Darkwavemetal. So again, that was Duo Latera with their song Eraser from their debut EP Destructor. They're out of Gothenburg, Sweden. And Michael, this band actually features a singer that we've heard before on this segment.
Ooh.
This is actually the same singer from a band called Against I that we listened to actually last week with their song A Hymn for the End.
Can I just say that guitarist made me want to pick up my guitar? I actually have it in my arms right now.
Enjoyed that, did you?
Yes. That guitarist was amazing.
Yeah, he was awesome. Yep. So the singer from Against I, his name is Frederick Keith Kruna, and he's amazing too. Yeah. He does multiple projects, and this was the newest thing that came out. It actually came out a couple weeks ago, and I can't stop listening to it. It's a collaboration with several other bands that kind of came together through the Threads social media platform.
Wow.
Amazing stuff. Check out the entire EP. It's worth it. All right. The next song we're going to feature is a band called Panicwaves, and this is their song Blessings from their EP called Roots.
No plans are torn into our deeds, and you keep sitting on your knees. Since I was born, I knew the deal. This life could give me what I need. I found a place in solitude where no one talks and no one's rude. Don't get me wrong, don't get confused. It's just the way I want to do. So many people didn't see the truth, and no one's asking what it meant to you. So take what you can keep. On and on and on and on. You're still not dead to me. I promise you'll be free. It's just another day to spend without you cry for it. Falling way too deep. Don't take what you can keep. It's
again, that was Panicwaves with their song Blessings from their EP called Roots. They're a heavy-hitting alternative metal outfit out of Frankfurt, Germany. What did you think of that one, Michael?
Holy moly. At first, their singer kind of remind me of Spencer for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, Spencer Sotelo from Periphery.
Yeah.
He's really good,
yes. Right? I'm definitely adding that to my Spotify
too,
list.
Right? What'd you say?
I said I'm definitely adding that to my big Spotify list.
Heck yeah, man. Check out the entire EP. It's fantastic. In fact, check out all their stuff. I mean, it's all really good. Anything else to say on this one?
Except for holy moly, this is the greatest song I've probably heard on the Art of Discovery so far.
Ooh, big praise coming from Michael. There you go, Panicwaves. I guess we're flying to Germany to come and see you sometime. All right, and our final song on the Art of Discovery for this episode is from a band called Misery Oath. This is their song Feeder of Chaos from their A Darker Path record. And once again, that was Misery Oath with their song Feeder of Chaos from their A Darker Path record. These guys are a Swedish melodic death metal band out of Gothenburg, Sweden. Michael, what'd you think of this one?
I just want to say that guitar solo towards the end was immaculate.
Yeah, it's badass. That song just rules, man. I think you would like the entire record. It's really good.
I'll have to give it a try.
All right, we would like to thank all of our bands featured on this week's Art of Discovery segment, Duo Latera, Panicwaves, and Misery Oath. Thanks for letting us feature one of your songs on the show. We really appreciate it. And if you're an independent band and you would like for us to take a listen to your stuff and possibly feature one of your songs on the show, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to take a listen to your stuff and give a recommendation for you. Michael, do you have anything else to say?
Other than thank you to all of the bands that allow us to play their music on the podcast. And that's really it.
Thanks for continuing to inspire us. All right, and with that, we are going to move on into our main topic of the episode. This week, we are breaking down Devin Townsend's brand new 2024 release, PowerNerd. A little bit of background on this record. Devin said that he didn't want to overthink the creation of this record. He mentions in the album commentary that he gave himself 12 days to write the record and 1 day to rehearse. He also mentioned that he wanted to do a sort of throwback 80s hard rock record and actually had already written some material for it. And over the last several years, Devin had lost a close friend. His wife left and moved to another country. His son moved out of the house. He had some home renovations going on, and he had to move his parents when they stopped being able to care for themselves. So he explains that he found that the process of writing this record became very emotional for him. He had explained that he was so stoic when going through all these things, kind of thinking he was strong and he was balanced. But it turns out he was only repressing his emotions. And he kind of describes this album as being his most honest project. And I gotta say that I totally relate and understand where Devin's coming from on this. I went through this period of a lot of loss of people that were very close to me in a pretty short amount of time. My dad got cancer in 2005, and it took him the next year. I mean, it wasn't even a year. It took him in April of 2006. And shortly thereafter, my grandmother, his mother, passed away. And then my grandfather, his dad, passed away. And I was very close to all three of them. In fact, spent most of my childhood years with my dad's side of the family. And through all of that, I guess I wasn't really processing my grief correctly, or maybe wasn't allowing myself to process it at all. I kept thinking in the back of my head that I had to be strong for everybody else. I wouldn't cry in front of everybody else. I even gave the eulogy at my dad's services and at my grandfather's services. Somehow I was able to hold it together. I cried a little bit, but I don't think I ever really dealt with those emotions afterwards. and it has continued to affect my life all these years later, just from, I guess, not healing from that trauma or dealing with it properly. So this album hits really close to home for me. Michael, any opening thoughts on what this record is about?
Other than, let's get into this.
All right. So we'll start out with track number 1, titled PowerNerd. Devin describes this track as being the mission statement of the record, learning to authentically connect as a human with things like death. You can't give up. You just gotta get through it. Michael, what's your thoughts on this song?
So, I like, I think it's a very good opener. And on the thoughts of what Devin said, in the song, I think it says, tears are gratitude, no giving up, no giving up, no giving up when you know you can take it.
Yep, just that message of, trying to be strong and work your way through it. Anything else on this?
Other than the instrumental, through all instruments through this whole entire album are immaculate. Works so well.
They're fantastic. Yeah. I love the guitar work in this song and the really driving rhythm. It's a really high energy song, and it's got this outstanding 80s style guitar solo in it. It's a killer opening track.
PowerNerd.
Yes. Anything else on this one before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. So we will move to track 2. This is called Falling Apart. Devin says that this track is literally about him feeling like he's falling apart, dealing with the emotions of losing people while juggling other major life events. Michael, what do you got on this one?
This is my favorite song on this album. I love this song. I like how the rhythm fits in with everything, and I like Devin's lyrics. It kind of sounds like he's actually rolling down a,
like he's literally falling apart.
Yeah.
The song kind of starts with this really heavy, slow, percussive beat.
Yeah.
Before going into something a bit more ethereal during the verses.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a sing-songy chorus. I really love the keyboards, kind of synth work on the song. It's a really, really good song, a really emotional song.
This loss, so it's falling apart, is 2 lines from the song.
Yeah.
Then also, it says, keep the tension under control, you're falling apart.
Trying to convince himself that everything's okay, even though, he feels like his world is crumbling around him.
I feel like I'm pulling way too many lyrics. But one more. Better days, we'll see you again.
Yeah. Hopeful message there.
It's like never giving up.
Right.
Just keep on
Trying
keeping the positive message.
Yourself. I'm sorry?
I said keep on the positive message.
Yep, trying to keep that positive mental attitude, even despite all the hardships. Anything else to say on this one, Michael?
Nope.
Okay, moving at a brisk pace, right along to track number 3. This is Knuckle Dragger. Devin opens up about learning to trust himself a bit with getting to have a beer every now and then. He had gotten sober for a period of time and sort of fell off the wagon a bit, and he was embarrassed to admit it to anybody. But he realized that he had control of himself when he returned to having a drink here and there. He wasn't letting the drink control him. He realized he could have a beer, just a beer here and there, to just kind of help him get through what he was going through. He realized that he could do things in moderation and not let it get the best of him. Michael, what do you think of this song?
I was so confused when it opens up with "Give me another beer, man."
Yeah, the delivery with the song is often silly, even though the lyrical content is actually pretty serious.
Yeah, until I looked at the lyrics, I thought it was just like a silly song.
Kind of a silly throwaway.
Yeah. But
then the lyrics definitely tell a different message. What did you think of the music from the song?
I kind of like how it opens up and then goes into the actual song, the intro little part.
You like the kind of video gamey thing that it opens up with?
Yeah.
Kind of feels like an old school 8-bit Nintendo game opening.
Exactly!
You got that same vibe, huh?
Yes. It sounds like an old school game booting up.
Yeah. Yep. And he actually returns to that little sound effect a few times during the song. It definitely feels very 80s musically. It's got a really catchy chorus. There's really excellent guitar work towards the end of the song. Fun song, despite the really heavy lyrical content.
Yeah. Looking at the lyrics, it changes everything about the song.
Yeah, I can't really relate to this song too much because I never fell into alcoholism. I've never been a big drinker in general. But having watched what my dad went through when he and my mother separated, my dad drank quite a bit. And he was never a drinker when I was growing up either, but he drank quite a bit when my mom left. Just trying to deal with that depression, that sadness that she was gone, that the life that he had built with her was over, and it was very difficult to go through that with him. It was really sad, and all I could really do, was just do my best to be there for him when he needed somebody to talk to or when he needed a shoulder to cry on, So, in a way, I kind of understand where Devin's coming from on this one. Michael, do you got anything else on this song?
Nope.
All right. Moving on to track number 4. This is Gratitude. This, Devin says, is learning to be grateful for going through all of these hardships and coming out on the other side a stronger person. Michael, what do you got on this?
To back up what Devin says, it says, and say thank you, as one of the lyrics. It isn't the best, but it's something. But this is probably my second favorite song on the album.
Behind Falling Apart?
Yeah. I just like how everything fits together. It's like a big old puzzle piece. Puzzle. I don't know why I said piece.
Yeah, I love this song. This is definitely one of my favorites on the record. It's like a big 80s power ballad. It's definitely got that 80s power ballad feel. I enjoy kind of the dreamy verses and Devin's vocal delivery during the verses. and then the chorus feels so big and grand. It's just it's a damn good song. I love the song. It's one of those songs that after I heard it the first time, I went back and listened to it again so I could pick up some of the lyrics and kind of sing along. It's such a good song.
Gratitude.
Yes.
I have nothing else to say.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, I think this one kind of sits with me mainly because, I relate to having gone through some of these hardships that he's talking about, especially about losing people close to you. And I decided last year that I was going to try to talk to someone and work through all of, this trauma and this depression that I feel, especially through the holidays, and figuring out that I am stronger for having gone through this stuff and learning how to properly process those emotions. I wouldn't say that I'm a pro at it or that I'm a fully balanced person now, but I do feel somewhat better having spoken to someone about it over the last year. Nothing else on this, Michael?
Nope.
Okay, so we're moving on to track 5. This is Dreams of Light. Devin doesn't really talk about the song in the commentary. It's kind of this dreamy little interlude. I almost feel like maybe this is Devin facing down all these hard things that he's been through, the losses. He's kind of reaching out for help and dreaming of better things to come. Michael, what do you got on this?
I could agree on you with that. I kind of find it as like an intermission type thing.
Yeah, kind of something like what Tool does quite a bit on Anima. Nothing else to really say about this?
Nah.
Okay. So we'll move right along to track 6. This is Eubelia. Devin said that he saw this name. He said that the name can be interpreted to mean help. It's a spin on a Greek name, Ophelia. Michael, what do you got on this?
So, I think this was one of the songs that I also liked a lot because of the instrumental. But I think this is one of the songs that I just didn't really catch on to.
No?
On my listen through a couple of times.
Not one of your favorites on the record?
No.
So, for me, this is just another big power ballad. It's got this ethereal, dreamy thing going through the verses, and then the big, powerful chorus, the big, bombastic, powerful chorus. It's a really good song. I enjoy it. It doesn't quite make the top 3 from the record, but it's still a fantastic song. Anything else to say on this one, Michael?
Nope.
All right, so moving right along to track 7. This is Jainism. Devin says that he's realizing that you're not really changing the world with your music. You're trying to remain authentic to yourself and your world. Michael, what do you got on this one?
Like I said with the last song, I didn't really catch on to the song. It just never caught my hearing at all while I was listening. But I think it's still probably a very good song lyrical wise. Looking through the lyrics now, it looks like it was a pretty good song. I just didn't ever catch it.
So yeah, for me, This is a good hard rocking song. I really love the vocals during the pre-chorus. It's got another big anthemic chorus. The guitar work during the chorus is just hooky as hell. The only thing this left me wanting was one of those big 80s style guitar solos. It doesn't feature that, but it just feels like it should be there. And I absolutely love the big finish to the song. I mean, it's huge. It's got that big 80s finish to it. It's I love the song. It's really, really good. One of my favorites on the record for sure. Anything else to say on this one, Michael?
No.
Okay. So we'll move on to track 8. This is called Younger Lover. Devin says this is a reflection on a long-term relationship, a love song for a long-term relationship. Michael, what do you got on this one?
Looking over the lyrics, when listening to the song, I got caught off guard when hearing I'm free, I'm free. But this song just is a big piece to add on to the big puzzle that is this album.
What did you think of it musically?
It's very good. I'm trying to play it in my head. I think instrumentally it's pretty good. Coming from an instrument part side.
Yeah, it's another big 80s style power ballad. I love the message behind the song. It stays with the theme of these big anthemic choruses that you see on the majority of this record. I really love the guitar work on the little bridge after the second chorus. It's a really pretty song. The message of the song, I think, is, at least for me, what I took out of it is about trying to find ways to keep your love, that flame between you and your partner, your significant other, keep it alive and lit and burning through good times, through bad, through all the years, through all the changes that each person goes through throughout the years, and trying your best to hold on to that relationship and still love that person more than you did the day before. It's a really beautiful sentiment, and the song is absolutely fantastic.
With the final message you just gave, it kind of makes sense.
Makes the lyrics make a little more sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does that change how you feel about the song?
I'll just have to give it a re-listen.
Fair enough. Anything else to say on this?
Nope.
Okay. So, moving on to track 9, we've got Glacier. Devin says this song outlines the process of death, the actual loss, in dealing with the spiritual aspect of things, though Devin himself doesn't really practice a particular religious belief. It's recognizing that nothing lasts forever, but you can't be afraid to open yourself up to love and the pain of loss that's a part of living life. Michael, what do you got on this?
So, today I did one last re-listen to the album, and I found out that I actually like this song pretty well. I like the instrument. Also, I like the how it all fits together, and also the message is kind of fits well with the lyrics.
Yeah, it fits really well
thematically
thematically with the rest of the album. You got anything else?
Nope.
Yeah, I love this song. It's another just huge sounding song thanks to the layering of the different sounds. It's just like a huge wall of sound through the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Almost feels like this song is being delivered like a church hymn. And it's a really important message and something that we all have to learn.
Some way or
even
another.
through experiencing the loss of a loved one, we can't be afraid to open ourselves up to other people, to let other people in. We have to be willing to accept that we're going to get hurt from time to time, but what's important is the lessons that we learn from that and how we pick ourselves back up. It's important that we become stronger for having gone through a little bit of pain. It's important to always look for that silver lining, that light at the end of the tunnel. It's important not to close yourself off.
There's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, I've always heard it said that it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And I have to agree with that sentiment.
I have to agree.
I loved my dad and my grandparents so much. And I experienced so much love from them. It enriched my life. It made my life great growing up. And they imparted on me love and wisdom and guidance, lessons that I have taken all through my life. I'm extremely grateful to have had them in my life and to have learned those things. Yes, it hurt like hell when they passed away, but I wouldn't have traded the time and the love for anything. It was worth going through that pain to have those relationships, to have that love. Anything else to say on this one, Michael?
No.
All right. So we're moving into track 10. This song is called Goodbye. Devin says this might be the heaviest song that he ever wrote. The song is literally saying goodbye to someone you care about or love, making peace with having to let that someone go. Michael, what do you got on this one?
So, I already like this song from the start, but going over the lyrics with you at dinner was actually pretty. It just makes more sense. I was so confused why the song was named Goodbye before I looked over the lyrics. But after looking over the lyrics, it kind of makes sense with the message of the album and also the message of the song that was trying to be delivered.
Do you like the song?
Yes. It probably cracks my top 3.
So it cracks your top 3?
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. Yeah, this is definitely another of my favorite songs on the record, if not my favorite song on the record. It's just such a damn good hard rock song. This really takes me back to the fun 80s rock metal of my youth. The chorus of the song is laden with a ton of heartache. Devin mentions that he couldn't stop crying when delivering the closing lines to the song, and I can see why. It's just what a journey this entire record is. But these closing lyrics: I love your mind and your smile. I love your soul. Goodbye, I love you. Extremely powerful. And then there's this gorgeous, ethereal music to close out the song.
Yeah,
literal journey into the unknown.
It's
And it
just
makes
so
me tear up a
beautiful.
bit. It's the emotional climax of the record.
I'm tearing up right now.
Yeah, it's gorgeous to think about, and it's gorgeous to hear, and it takes me back to having to say goodbye to the people that I've lost, having to say goodbye to my dad, having to say goodbye to my grandparents, say goodbye to aunts and uncles that I was close to. It never gets any easier. But you learn to make peace with the fact that everybody owes a death, right?
Mhm.
You learn to make peace with the pain because it was, it was worth having those relationships. It was worth having that love in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't give away any of that for the world. Even though I have hurt so much over the losses of my dad and my grandparents, I would not trade it for the world.
Agreed.
And this song so beautifully encapsulates having to say goodbye.
Agreed.
Gorgeous song.
Agreed. Again. Well done song.
And I would be remiss if I didn't confess that this song actually, the close to the song reminds me of another song that makes me emotional at the end. Peripheries, Thanks Nabuo, at the end of that song. Just this beautiful orchestral arrangement. It's so pretty
I'm gonna look
as it
up
goes
the
out.
lyrics for Thanks Nabuo for the last lyrics.
I'm not referring to the lyrics. I'm just talking about the music.
Yeah. Music's beautiful throughout that whole entire song.
Yeah. Michael, do you have anything else to say about Goodbye?
No. Except for it just reminds me of Thanks Nabuo from Periphery. And trying not to go off topic, but wanting to. For the last line of Thanks Nabuo, it says, "Rest the soul, shine like gold."
Pretty emotional.
I would have never thought about relating that to Thanks Nabuo, though.
It's just musically, the arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very pretty. It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminds me of the end of Thanks Nabuo.
Mm-hmm. More I think about it, yeah, it really does.
Would you agree with my thoughts that this song is kind of the emotional climax of the record?
Yes. It kind of seemed like it was actually the end of the record.
Right. It kind of feels like it should have been the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've gone through this really beautiful journey through the last 10 songs, and it just has this gorgeous climax. This really feels like the end of the record,
Mm-hmm.
but there's still one more song to go. Before we move on to the final song of the record, Michael, any other final thoughts?
No, except for I agree with the message it's trying to send.
All right, so moving into the final track from the record. This is titled Ruby Quaker. Devin says this is the name of the spaceship that is used in the narrative for his upcoming record, The Moth. The ship is sponsored by a coffee company called Ruby Quaker Coffee Company. Ruby Quaker is a type of moth that is found in the eastern United States. He explains that the song is kind of explaining that there is a light ahead. Storms don't last forever. After the process of loss, and you allow yourself to process through things, there's that hope on the horizon. There's still life ahead. What do you think about this song, Michael?
This song is one of the songs another one of the songs I never really realized was a thing.
Didn't realize the deeper meaning?
Yeah, really. And also, whenever I listened, I just apparently just never heard the song while listening. I Before looking at the album list, I thought I just went straight into the commentary stuff.
So you just never really paid attention to the fact that it was there at all?
No.
You just said, we had the emotional climax song on Goodbye.
Yeah.
The rest of this doesn't count.
I just never caught it.
Yeah, the first time I listened through the entire record, admittedly, I thought this was just Devin putting in a silly throwaway song at the end. It does have one hell of a metal breakdown mid-song, but aside from that, I thought he was just inserting a little levity. I still believe that this song is meant to have some levity to it, but I do appreciate the deeper meaning behind it now that I've heard Devin kind of explain where he was coming from on it. We've had this emotional climax with Goodbye. Ruby Quaker kind of symbolizes, that there's the sun's going to come out tomorrow. When you wake up in the morning, the sun's going to be there. Life goes on, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what this song represents. He's wrapped it in this silly song about love and coffee, but I think coffee is more of a metaphor about, waking up from all these nightmarish, sad things that you've gone through and realizing that, you've still got life to live. There's still reasons to go on.
Not trying to cut you off, but it says, but we need a little more light now in the morning.
Yep. Kind of goes along with what I was saying, right? Like, I don't put it past Devin to do something really eccentric and do something with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek comedy. He's certainly done that sort of thing in the past. But I truly believe that while this song does offer that bit of levity, he still has that underlying positive message. Anything else to say about this song, Michael?
Nope.
All right. So we've finished our track-by-track breakdown. Michael, it's time to give your final thoughts on the album and give us your rating score out of 5.
All right. So, I love this record. I listened to this so much. And shout outs on the songs I really liked was Falling Apart, Gratitude, and Goodbye. Everything else on the record is immaculate too. Is amazing. But I had to point out those songs because those were the songs I really liked. And I'm going to have to give this a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. That's a huge score for you, Michael. In fact, that might be the first perfect score you've given to any of the records we've listened to so far.
I think I've given a 5 out of 5 a couple of episodes.
I know you've given it to that 5 out of 5 score to some of the individual songs we've listened to, but I don't think you've given one to any of the full records we've listened to. I am impressed that you liked this record this much. And I guess I should have realized how much you liked it based on you wanting to listen to it this evening when we were in the car. And you're right. You did give 5 out of 5 scores to Alice Cooper's $1 Billion Babies and to Anima by Tool. So, yeah, this is actually your third perfect score. I'm really glad you enjoyed this. I know that you were looking forward to doing the... originally, we had a Queen record scheduled for this, and I know you were looking forward to that. But this album hit me so hard that I felt like it was worth us exploring this record. So I'm really happy that you enjoyed this.
I kind of enjoyed the deep dive on this album.
Yeah. Yep. It's an amazing journey. Any other thoughts on the album, Michael?
Other than, let's hear your rating and explanation why.
Yeah, so for me, I thoroughly enjoyed this record. I fell in love with it the first time I listened to it. I fell in love with it even deeper once I finished listening to the album commentary. Hearing Devin explain what these songs are about and hearing about Devin's emotional journey and the things that inspired these songs, it just hit so close to home for me. I can relate to some of those feelings of heartbreak, while I can't relate to, my wife leaving or, my children being old enough to move out. I can completely relate to the sense of loss of losing loved ones. And I completely relate to the feeling of stoicism and trying to put on this fake strength to project something, something that I wasn't. Trying to project that I had this balance, that I had the power to get through these losses without it affecting me. And that was just lying to myself. That was putting on a front. It was completely false. I was totally broken and torn up inside. And it's taken almost 20 years just to get to a point where I feel somewhat better about it. Those wounds are never really going to heal, but I do feel stronger for having gone through it, and I'm grateful for having those relationships, even though it hurt so bad when I lost them. So this record hit me really, really hard. I absolutely love it, and it's getting a perfect score from me as well.
Fair.
And with a score like this, you gotta believe that it's gonna make somewhere in my top 5 favorite records of the year. It's definitely a strong candidate.
It's already certified on my list.
That's awesome. I'm really glad you liked it that much. I'm glad it worked out for us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And with that said, do want to bring up our question for the audience for this episode. It's, what is your favorite track on PowerNerd and why? I actually posed this question to our followers on Threads and on Blue Sky, and I did get a response on Blue Sky before our recording started this evening. It comes from Overlord Tregenza on Blue Sky. He says, Knuckle Dragger. It's Devin at his eccentric best. Plus, it's a great hook. It has a proper boogie feel. What do you think about that, Michael?
I could agree with him.
Yeah, I do like Knuckle Dragger. I mean, it definitely, it's probably not in my top 3 songs.
Yeah.
But it is a fantastic song, and it does have a great hook. All right. So with that out of the way, we're going to move on to our next segment. This is called Can't Wait. This is the new music that we're looking forward to that's coming soon. Michael, what's on your list?
Opeth.
I think you've said that every episode for like the last 3 or 4 episodes.
I want Opeth record.
I want it now. Give it to me.
Give it
Give it to
early.
me yesterday.
Give it to me early.
Right? Yeah. For me, on November 20th, Killswitch Engage has a new single coming out from their just announced new record called This Consequence. I'm looking forward to hearing that. it's their first new music, if I remember right, since like 2018. So it's been a minute. It may not have been that long. Let me look. That doesn't sound right. Let me do some live correction of myself here.
I guess I'm putting that also on my list.
I'm sorry, it's their first new material since 2019. So I was only a year off. So their first new music in about 5 years. Definitely looking forward to that. And then, of course, on November 22nd, Opeth finally drops their new record, The Last Will and Testament.
Unless they delay it again.
I am really excited for that one. And I know you are too, Michael. I think those are the Opeth record is the last record of the year that I've been really anticipating. So once I get a chance to listen to that, I'm going to be able to finish locking down my selections for top 5 albums of the year. Anything else, Michael?
Nope.
All right. So we'll move on to our next segment. This is our listener feedback segment. Before we get started here, I do want to insert some corrections to myself from the last episode.
Oh?
Yeah, so I had mentioned in our last episode, in our discussion about The Crow, that I was kind of surprised that none of the big Seattle grunge rock bands appeared on the soundtrack, even though it was released at kind of the height of that movement. And I had mentioned that I had thought Nirvana's In Utero had came out the same year as The Crow, but I was wrong. The Crow came out in 1994, and In Utero had come out the year before that in 1993. So I was wrong about that. I'm human. Sorry about that. I don't walk on water. The other thing that I had been incorrect about, and I actually think that Zach and I both had gotten this wrong. We had been talking about where the Rollins Band song Ghost Rider appears in the film in The Crow, and Zach had initially mentioned that the song appears in the motorcycle scene, and I kind of went along with it, thinking the same thing, but it turns out that there is no motorcycle scene in The Crow. Because I'm a goofball. This song can actually be heard in the background when Grange and T-Bird informed Top Dollar that Gideon's pawn shop had burned to the ground.
Oh.
So, we were incorrect. Once again, sorry. We're not perfect, but we try to.
This one's for you, buddy.
Exactly. All right, so getting into our listener feedback here. Regarding episode 8's question for the audience, Bubba Wheat on Threads says, Dead Souls was the initial reason I bought the album, and I was collecting Nine Inch Nails albums. Hadn't even seen the movie, and we're referring to The Crow. Hadn't even seen the movie before buying the soundtrack, but I think Burn by The Cure is the one that sticks with me more these days. It's just such a gorgeous track. Any thoughts on that, Michael?
Agreed.
Yeah, 100%. Burn is phenomenal. Like we mentioned on the episode, like those first 3 or 4 songs could have been their own EP by itself, and it would have sold. It would just, those first 4 songs are chef's kiss. Mm-hmm. We're compiling our top 5 best records of the year lists in preparation for what will be our final show of the year. And as a reminder, we'd like to hear from you on what your top rock and metal releases of 2024 were. Get your responses to us by December 11th, and we'll read them on the air. All right, and moving into our next segment, this is Michael's journey, discovering a song from the past. And for this episode, we're going to get Michael's thoughts on the Supremes' Stop in the Name of Love. A little background on this song. It was recorded in 1965 by the Supremes for the Motown label. It was written and produced by Motown's main production team, Holland, Dozier, and Holland. Stop in the Name of Love held the number 1 position on the Billboard Pop Singles chart in the United States from March 27th, 1965 through April 3rd, 1965, and reached number 2 position on the Soul chart. Billboard ended up naming the song number 38 on their list of 100 greatest girl group songs of all time, and the BBC ranked Stop in the Name of Love at number 56 on the Top 100 Digital Motown chart, which ranks Motown releases by their all-time UK downloads and streams. In 2001, the 1965 recording of Stop in the Name of Love by the Supremes was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. In 2021, it was listed at number 254 on Rolling Stone's Top 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. Michael, what do you got on this song?
Can we just talk about how much words has that song has just a one by itself?
You mean all the accolades and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah, all the awards, all the accolades, yeah. And it deserves all the love, it really does.
Yeah. I love the lyrical. I like the instrumental part of this,
The musical arrangement.
It's pretty well done.
And you said you thought you had heard the song before, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those iconic songs. And once you hear it the first time, you recognize it any time it comes on. Any other thoughts?
Nope.
No? Yeah, for me, this is just such a good classic soul song. Excellent vocal harmonies. And I can't listen to this song and not see the Supremes' iconic dance choreography for this song. They have one hand on their hip while the other hand is held out in this stop gesture when they're singing the chorus. It's one of those things that's just burned in my mind when I think about this song. It's extremely hooky and an all-time favorite for me. Michael, let's get your rating out of 5 on this song.
Drum roll, please. 5.
5 out of 5. You know, Michael, I'm really impressed. It seems like you have been more than game for just about any of this stuff that I have had you listening to here. It really seems like you're really enjoying this stuff. Any other final thoughts on Stop in the Name of Love?
Other than it deserves everything that it has earned.
Yeah, it's absolutely iconic. I agree with you. The musical arrangement's perfect. Their vocal harmonies are perfect. It's fantastic.
Agreed.
All right, Michael, so up next on your journey, you're going to get your first taste of George Michael, and you're going to get to hear his song Freedom 90. Have you ever heard George Michael before?
No. Never heard of the name.
You're in for a treat. I think you're going to like this song. And on our next episode, for our main topic, we are going to be covering that long-awaited brand new release from Opeth, The Last Will and Testament. And trust me, we are really looking forward to it. I can't wait. Like the anticipation is just like, give it to me now. Must hear now. I can't wait. And I might be overhyping it in my head, but yeah, I'm so stoked for it. Give it to me now. Take my money. Take my wallet. Take it all. I want it now. All right. And with that said, we want to hear from you. We will read your emails and messages on the show. We have only one request. Keep them clean. There are several ways to contact us. You can email us at lightmovepod@gmail.com. You can also reach us on several social media platforms: Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads. Details on how to connect with us are in the show notes.
If you liked this show, subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform. And share with your friends and family. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a variety of other platforms. We are also now on YouTube. Can't find us on your chosen platform? Shoot us a message and let us know. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This helps us be found in the algorithm. Make them good, and we'll read them on the air. Are you in a band and you'd like for us to check you out and possibly drop a recommendation on the show? Shoot us a message. We'd love to check you out and give you a shout.
We'd like to thank you very much for listening to the Leitmotif and Movement Podcast. Take care and enjoy music.